All right, as promised, I'm going to go through some of the different skills that were in the presentation, elevate engagement and slide beyond. Here's the list of the 10 different skills, and we will start with number 1. So changing the slide size and orientation. Very helpful if you are going to make things that you actually want people to print out, because if you design them as they are preset, which is 16:9, they print out a little bit funky unless you actually play with some of the print settings. So we'll do this in real time. File, page setup, and then you would go here to custom, and then enter your dimensions. I'm actually not going to do it right now, because if I do it, it will change the slide size for all of the slides that we've got going on here, which would be kind of a disaster in terms of being able to view the presentation as we're going through it and practicing these skills. That being said, here's a tip to the wise. If you are going to change the size of your presentation, do it first. If you do it second, things will go a little wonky. If I remember to do it, I will try to change the size of this whole presentation when we're done with it and have gone through the skills. Changing the print setup. This is kind of cool to do. You can print, if you change the setup, you can use this and download it, give it to students to take actual notes on there. It's great if you're giving a presentation and want to take notes. Sometimes you just want the presentation as a PDF to keep. So to do this, you'll go to File, Print Settings and Preview. And then you have all of these options here. So let's do a handout 4 sides per page. It does take quite a bit of time, especially when you've got lots of slides to get there. But see, these are the different layouts that you have here. You can choose to include skipped slides or not, and to hide the background or not. If you are printing these out, if we needed to print out this presentation, we should choose hide background. This black ink will take a ton from the printer. So if we choose hide background, what that will do is it will eliminate the black background and just pop all of the text. However, if you use a template as your background, which we will get to in a little bit here, you probably don't want to hide background, because that's an image and that you want to be there. We'll get there in a short bit. So that's changing print setup. Don't forget, when you go to actually print, how do you want it printed? Single-sided or double-sided? You can also scale to size. Download options. You can download any slide as a JPEG. You do have to do this one at a time if you're creating images from your slides, just so you know. But to do this, File, Download, and then you can make a choice from any one of these. So it always will tell you for the JPEG or PNG, or if you use an SVG format for an image, it tells you it's for the current slide only. All of these others would be the entire document. Publish to the web. You can use publish to the web if you want auto advanced features for publishing to the web. File, publish to web, and then you get all of your options here. You can change the default of how often it auto advances. You can make it a little bit more private and require viewers to sign in order to view your presentation. You can also get an embed link, so you can embed it into a slideshow and have it auto present as well. This would be great if you had a slideshow that was literally just filled with student images, whether it be art images or images that you've taken of students in the classroom. You can always unpublish it to the web as well, so you can take it down whenever you're ready. Background. So background is kind of cool. Let's actually do this in real time. So we're talking about the background of your slide, not a theme. So remember, a theme, I'm going to first hit on theme. These are your themes. When you click on one of these, it changes the theme across the entire presentation. So this affects everything. A background affects one particular slide. So to change the background, I can go to background. I can change the color. So that was changing the color. I can change the background to an image. So I'm sure that I probably won't have anything that I can use here. I'm hoping that I do. I should have thought of this before I did this. Let's see what we can use here. Let's see what I've got here. Ooh, maybe this is something, that's not an image. So you're going to need to use an image for that. So let's see, I'll have to look for a picture. I'm sorry about all of that. We'll use the Blender. How about that? So I'm uploading the image from my computer. Now I could actually use this image and I can tell students to write about blenders. So they could replace this text box with writing about blenders. Notice that unlike an image on the page, I'm clicking and dragging. I cannot move this image. So this is my background now. So if you had a Venn diagram or some sort of other graphic organizer, here you are. Upload it as an image. It's in your background. Students cannot move it off of the page. They can, however, move text boxes on and off and move them around. So the background thing is kind of cool. One other note about background as far as color, many people don't actually notice this little tab up here. So we already tried solid. So we've got solid, but watch this. If we go to gradient, these are kind of cool. It kind of gives you a different view and it kind of, I don't know, I think it's just a little softer on the eyes. So that's a little bit about background. Use of space. Here we are, use of space right now. If we want to build a slide, so let's build our slide here. So this is our actual slide. Then if I want students, let's just say we're going to do some sort of sorting activity. I'll add a circle. I don't have to actually add it over in the corner if I don't want to. I'm going to add square. And then once I make this, I can drag it off to the side. The nice thing is that if you put these images on the side here, you can tell the students slide. And I'll add another little text box. Here we go. Students can drag and drop things and move them to their correct place. So the bonus area, anything that's in the gray outside, your slide is the white area here. Makes it kind of nice. You can also add directions over in the corner over there. Master slides. So when you go to make a new slide, most people just click on the plus, which just makes the typical, this is like your default master slide. Did you know that you could use this downward arrow and choose from a variety of different templates? Now, these are custom templates that I put in here, so this you wouldn't normally see. But if you go to View, Master, these are all of your different master slide options. So if I want to edit the master slide, okay, I don't want this subtitle here, and I want this to always be at the top. All right, that's what I want here. So when you're done editing these masters, what you want to have here, you can click on the little X. Let's see if I can find what I did here. All right, I did this one, I believe. And this is my title slide. And remember, there was a subtitle here. I got rid of that. So that's your master slides. Again, it's something that you probably won't use that often, but just know that you have the option to create and change what master slides look like. So if you know that you never have a subtitle or a subheading, it would probably be easier for you instead of every time you want to create a slide. Now I need to find a different one here. How about this big number one? If I know that I don't ever need this text down here, it's probably easier than every time deleting that to just have a master file that doesn't have that piece right there. So that's a little bit about master slides. Again, something you probably won't use too terribly often, but could be helpful. Arrange tools, game changer. Takes a while to figure out sometimes, or maybe I'm just slow on the uptake. That could totally be it. But let's play around a little bit with some arrange tools. So I need to add some things here first so we can arrange them. And I'm going to make them different colors so that we have things to play with. And we can see the difference between them. I didn't want to do this ahead of time because I wanted to show you as we were actually working here. Name. All right. So if I have my name here and I want it here, right now it's on top, which is great. If I want to move this blue thing, it's right here. But what if I wanted to sort of have the blue triangle behind the yellow rectangle? I'm also going to adjust the size of this text box, which is giant here. If I want the blue triangle behind the yellow rectangle, so it's just kind of popping out in the corners, click on the blue triangle, go to Arrange, click on Order, and I want to send this blue triangle backwards. So I want to send it back. So there we go. So I sent that backwards. Now, if I clicked on my name and I clicked on Arrange, Order, Send Backwards, it's still here. So let's try it again. Order, Send Backwards. Now it's gone because it was 2 layers deep. So you do kind of have to play around with it a little bit to figure out like send to back, send backwards. But it's kind of neat to know that you can actually change these things around a little bit and what order that they are on your page. Let's play a little bit now with the Align tool. So I've got this triangle and I've got the rectangle. And I'll use the arrow. Let's just try playing around with this here. So I'm going to select, I have the arrow selected. I'm going to hold down the control key as I click on the blue triangle. And I'm still holding the control key and I'm going to click on the yellow rectangle. I'm going to go to Arrange and I'm going to click on Align. Let's see what happens if I click Center. Check that out. They all aligned and they're one on top of the other and they're center justified. Kind of cool. Let's see what happens if I click on Align and I go to Middle. Now they have dropped everything on top of each other, which is fine. Again, remember the nice thing with Google, you always have your undo. So if you click on undo, it kind of goes back to where it was. So that's a little bit about Align. If you have things like, say we're building a house right here, we'll use this as the chimney. Let's see our little strange chimney here. And I've got this all organized. And now I realize that my house is sort of in the middle, but it needs to be over here somewhere. If I start to drag and drop these things, they're never going to align again. It's just a disaster. It takes a bunch of time. No one wants to do that. An easy way of keeping these things together and to be able to move them. Again, we're going to use a control key. We're going to click first on the upward arrow. Then I'm going to hold the control key, click on the blue triangle. I'm still holding the control key and I'm clicking on the yellow rectangle. Arrange, group. Notice that now I just have one giant blue square. Watch what happens. It's all grouped as one thing. If I didn't want this grouped together anymore, I have it selected because you see the blue outline over here. Arrange, ungroup. I'd like to show you one more little quick thing. So I'm going to move this back over here so you can see. These are all individual. They're not grouped. I'll prove it by going up here. They're not grouped or ungrouped right now. They're 3 separate pieces. They're independent of one another. Another way, instead of using the control key, what I can do is I'm going to use my mouse or my trackpad to click, and I'm going to drag. See how I've got this blue thing with the little plus kind of going here? This is capturing all of those pieces together. Arrange, group. Nice, right? So now look at, I'm trying to just move this triangle piece, but I'm not because it's all grouped as one thing. Are there any other tools that we need? I don't think so. Rotate, you always can use this little joystick here to rotate your image. Or if you don't like to do it that way, you can go to, so when you have something actually clicked, so you have to have it selected, you can go to Format Options, Size and Rotation. You can use all of these different options here, drop shadow, a reflection, things like that. So those are kind of fun. Text boxes. So by default, text boxes are transparent. You can change the background color of a text box as well as the outline. So let's add a text box here. So I can click here to add a text box. Again, I'll just write my name. When I click away, it's a transparent text box. But if I click here, I know it's selected because it's blue. I can use this to align. I can change it to center if I want. This paint bucket fills the inside of my text box, and the pencil fills is the border. So notice that's the border. Now, if you want a thicker border, I'm going to click back so it's outlined. This is driving me crazy over there, sorry. These lines, this is the border weight. Let's go to 8. Notice how thick it got. You also have another option. So not only changing the weight, but the dashes, like right now it's a solid outline. I could change it to dots. So let's look at that. Kind of neat. I could change it to dashes. And notice that that option went away up here because I've not clicked on anything. So now I've clicked on this. Now I have my options back. I can change it to dots and dashes. So that's something neat to kind of and fun to play around with. Using color, shapes, callouts, and masking images, another very fun thing to do. So let's go, we'll use this up here. So callouts. Callouts can be found where you find the shapes. So you would go here to callouts. This is a great way to grab attention. You have the shape here, and then you do need to add the text box. So that is a call out. It's a great way to get someone's attention. A call out can also be used on the side over here as notes or directions for students. If you want your text to stay within your call out, remember back to when we were talking about the arrange tool. I can click on my text box. I can hold the control key down and click on my call out, arrange, group. Now watch. When I move that, it moves all over. Do notice though, if I try to change the size of this, I'm going to try to change it really tiny. It will kind of mess with my text over there. So just keep that in mind. It's not a huge deal and you can always change your text size, but just something to keep in mind as you do this. We sort of talked about this when we made the house. You can use shapes in different configurations to do art. And let's talk about that masking image tool. So I'm going to go up to insert image. I'm going to upload one from my computer. And let's see here, which image shall I choose? I don't really have anything super fun, but I'll use this image of the house here. So I've got this image of the house. It's outlined in blue. It's selected right now. This is my mask tool, my crop and image and mask tool. If I click the little downward arrow, I get shapes. Watch what happens as I use this. If I click circle, I'm going to click away. It changed it to sort of a circle shape there. I'm going to click back on it. Let's see, I will click the heart. So now my image is a heart shape. It's hard to see because I have a white background here, but what can I do to make the outline? I can use the border. And because even though it appears that it's a rectangular shape, it's really not. So you can use the border when you do that. I can go to mask tool and change it to a 4-way directional or whatever that's called. I'm not even really sure. Mask images is a lot of fun to use, especially if you're inserting photos like I did right down here. So that is another really cool thing to do. I'm trying to think of what I wanted to go back and do. I believe one of them was change the slide size, and let's so let's do this now. Page setup, and custom. We'll do 11 by 8.5. So notice that it changed the size right here. This actually doesn't look too bad, but notice, like what I was saying, that it does throw off your formatting quite a bit in certain places. Some slides will look great. Some you'll need to fix if you do that. So I highly recommend, if you're going to change the slide size, do it first, and you'll get the most bang for your buck, so to speak. Let's see what else we wanted to talk about before I let you go here. I think that we got everything, other than another thing to keep in mind. In addition to this use of space, you've got the bonus space on the right and the left. Use your speaker notes. Wait, there are no speaker notes. I don't see any right now. If you don't see your speaker notes, which typically appear at the bottom, you can go to View, Show Speaker Notes. This is a game changer if you get a copy of a presentation. If you're at a conference, you can take your notes right down here. That way, when you're saving this presentation, you will have the notes at the ready at all times. You can also use speaker notes as another place to provide direction for students. I hope that I was adequately able to describe these 10 features of Google Slides that help elevate engagement and slide beyond.